Hello, my DevNation friends. I was dancing on this wait music. By the way, awesome countdown that Edson, my friend Edson, made. And yeah, it's 2 minutes where I can get warmed up for the show. And yeah, there we are, second show of 2021. Let me double check if everything is working. Well, looks like it's a little bit laggy now. I don't know. Yes, it's a bit laggy on my side. Let me know on your side how it's going. Yeah, and I see a DJ Maddie is there. Toonie TV is there. Already, salut already. Oh, already, you have a show. It's laggy for you as well. Yeah. Let's hope it's a scale up. Is the audio okay? I hope the audio is okay. Okay. Yeah, my shirt. Look, my shirt. Burr and Burr, you know, probably Berserker. It's really funny. Kubernetes. Okay. So, yeah, already you have a show in several minutes about creating kubectl plugins. I know this talk. It's a really great talk, and I wish you lots of success. And thank you for dropping by on the show. And yeah, well, let's hope. Yeah, Restream say my stream is okay, but I see an issue. Well, let's see what happens. Let's hope. Oh, look, my legs are falling. Anyway, show number 2. I'm really excited. Today we have a great guest. We will bring him on stage in a few minutes, minute or two. Nothing special to say. It's a show. We are here, relax. We spend a good time. I have some great guests. We speak about tech stuff, about other stuff, and then we play a game. And my legs fall again. And yeah, this time we will play the quiz game. You probably know this game already for those that came here before. And yeah, I prepared some questions. So if you are a regular viewer of the show, you will recognize most of the questions because I reuse the questions. Otherwise, you will discover it. And it will be funny with the delay, but we will fix that. Let me double check here on YouTube how it is. Hey, James is there. Hey, Martijn. Hey, bonjour, Sebastian. Goedemiddag, Martijn. It's cool. Each week we have. Last week was it? 2 weeks ago we also had some Dutch people on the show. So so it's laggy. I'm really sorry about that. It's viewable. Okay. Hey Jan, hey Jan Wildeboer. Oh, that's awesome to see you there. Really cool to see you on the show. And so a lot of new people. Okay, so without waiting, I'm going to bring our guest on stage. Hopefully, his quality will be better. Remember, I'm on a really bad connection. I'm waiting for fiber so much. So if anyone is from France, work for Orange, please make it happen that I get the fiber here. Okay, please. Okay, Joe. Oh, Edson is there as well. Hey, Edson. Okay, interview time. So let me bring on stage and let me see how that can happen. And let me push the right button. Hey, Abdel,
Hello.
are you there?
Good, and you? Can you hear me and see me?
I can see you. I can hear you. Let me check on the stream if people can see you. Yeah, and you look like less laggy than me, so that's that's good. Okay. Hey, thank you so much for joining the show. And you know what? I always started this way, so try to introduce yourself in a few seconds, or take the time that you want. Stage is yours.
Sure. Thank you for having me. So Abdel, let's start with the name. My real name is Abdelfettah SGHIOUAR, and that's like a Latinized version. If you want, you can see it there on the screen. Yes, but everybody knows me as Abdel or Board Abdel on Twitter. So that's just call me Abdel, Abdel. I am Moroccan originally, living in Sweden, in Stockholm, and I work for Google since 7 years now. 4 years in a Google data center, and now since 3 years on cloud. background on infrastructure, degree in software engineering, but I have never actually worked as a software engineer. I just like to mingle with servers and containers now.
Okay, cool. And so, yeah, how is life in Sweden?
It's cold and miserable and dark. It's February. Yeah, I just came back. You know this. I just came back from Morocco. I was there for like 7 weeks.
7 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed so much sun, and then I came back, and the shock was huge. It's just like from 16 degrees to -5 or 6 or whatever it is right now, and it's snowing like crazy.
Yeah, it's snowing everywhere in Europe, almost, because I live in the south of France, and to be honest, it was hot today. I had to again outside my terrace, and to be completely honest, I even had to go back to my office because it was a bit too warm in the sun. So anyway, but
we all hate you right now, Seb.
and that's what I want. Anyway. Yeah, tell me a bit. I asked this question to everyone because you were also used to travel a lot, a bit like all of us. And since last year, things change a bit, as you know, a little bit. So how did you handle this situation on your side? Did it change a lot your work, or yeah? Tell me.
So a little bit of context first. So the reason I was traveling a lot is because I am part of professional services in cloud. So I am a consultant technically, and I work on all sorts of Google Cloud implementation with different customers. And for some reason, all the customers that we were working with in Europe insisted that we have to be present in person wherever they are in the world. So I was traveling about 70% of my time for the last 3 years up to March. So the last memorable trip was Hawaii, Unboxed Hawaii. And then I came back and then it stopped. And it did not impact really my work that much because most of our customers had to also adapt to the situation. So everybody's working from home anyway. We're still able to deliver our work remotely because we have people who are just focused on delivery, and that's fine. I think the impact was more on what I am missing mostly is doing conferences, because I was doing quite a lot of conferences, and going to places and meeting people is the part I miss quite a lot, to be honest. I started doing a little bit of virtual stuff in the beginning of the lockdown. And then I got to a stage where being on a call for a long time, so being on calls all day long for work and then doing a talk at the evening became a little bit too much. So I had to stop. And this, I think, is my first time coming back online since like 8 months or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't do anything online since a while now.
Okay. Tell me a bit about your job. If I look at your Twitter bio, you say cloud engineer at Google. And well, then you specify some words, but what's your daily job as a cloud engineer?
Yeah. So it's actually, I have this logo here. It's technically strategic cloud engineer. That's our title. But okay. I have no idea what strategic actually means in our title, to be honest. So that's why I always say cloud engineer. So I am part of, as I said, professional services, or PSO. And in PSO, we have several roles. My role, we are the technical team. We're the kind of experts or SMEs. So we go into projects. The customer wants to do an implementation. I cannot, unfortunately, say names of customers, but let's say a big company wants to migrate things to cloud. It could be websites, servers, whatever. So we go in and we help them with architecting, POCing, designing, and implementing and troubleshooting. So it's like typical consulting done in a specific time frame, so a specific period of time with a specific well-defined scope. And so my team has specializations. I specialize on Kubernetes and serverless and a little bit of infrastructure. There are other people doing security. There are people doing data. So it really depends on what project, what it is about. We bring in the right people to do the work.
No. Okay. So you say you're specialized in Kubernetes. Let's start with the Kubernetes topic slowly. So since when are you using Kubernetes? Tell me your Kubernetes story.
Yeah, so since 3 years now. Since I started in cloud, I actually joined this team as an infrastructure specialist because that's my background.
Yeah.
And I've been working in data centers for about 7 years, including in Morocco and then at Google. So, pure system administrator type work and network configuration, proxies, firewalls, and those kind of things, but the physical versions of that, right? And that's why I was brought into the team to help customers to basically do that in cloud, because it's the same set of problems, it's just a different environment, right? And then I started work. I think my first project was about 3 months after that. GKE was just released at the time. It was still kind of new, so the Google Kubernetes engine, or the managed version of Kubernetes on GCP. And I don't remember exactly what was it, but it was a project and they needed some help with Kubernetes. So I started learning it, and then I did the certification, the administrator, and then I did the CKAD later. And I'm preparing for the CKS now, the security specialist. So yeah, 3 years I have done Kubernetes on pretty much, Google mostly, so GKE. But then I have installed Kubernetes on OVH, which the French hosting provider, on IBM Cloud, on Oracle Cloud, just playing around. I am working on a project which it's one of these projects that are gathering dust on my desk for a while now. I managed to get my hand on, what is a Chromebox? It's this little mini ATX computers that runs Chrome.
Oh, yeah.
So these devices at Google, we use them in our meeting rooms. They are like the computer in the meeting room that runs the whole meeting software, right?
Yeah.
So they were deprecating, there was tearing down the entire floor, and I knew that they would throw them away. So I went and got 12 of them.
Oh.
And there is somebody who figured out how to run Linux on them. So you can run Debian. And it's a really basic Celeron, Intel Celeron, 4 gigabytes of memory, 16 gigabytes of SSD. It's not as much. So I had the project to build it because, like everybody else, I tried to do it on Raspberry Pi, right? To write, do a Raspberry Pi cluster, right? But it sucks because then once you deploy the Kubernetes itself, then you get to the problem of each application is not necessarily built for ARM. So you end up having to rebuild all the containers yourself. So I wanted to find a cheap way to run on Intel x86 or x86 in general, and Chrome boxes was right choice. So I'm working on them, and actually they are very cheap. If you look at how much they cost on secondhand in eBay, they're around $150 if you want to buy them.
Okay, and how far are you with that project? Did you manage?
No, so I managed to break one. I managed to break it when I was flashing the BIOS on it, and I have ordered one of these clips so you can flash the BIOS on the motherboard, and it's still being shipped from China. It will take 3 months to show up, I guess.
Okay.
So
are drinking tea?
I'm drinking tea because you told me you want me to teach you how to make tea, right? So I did the lazy version, but I'm drinking tea. Yes.
Now, just for the audience, so they understand, at last DevOps Morocco, we were having dinner in a really nice place. I don't remember how it was called, but I remember we had to walk a long time to go there. And we had a great dinner. I remember Sebastian Deschner had a sheep head. You remember that? Yeah.
Yes, we ordered that.
And then, of course, it was tea time, and Carlos Sanchez was there. So, and I don't know how it started. I think he asked you, how do you properly prepare Moroccan tea? And then you came with a whole ritual, and it was really funny. We had a lot of fun, though. But the whole thing with sugar and different. It's complicated.
Yeah, so they served us the tea like it's typically served. So you always get it with mint outside. So you don't put mint inside; they put it outside. So you can choose to put it or not, and then sugar. So you can adjust sugar yourself. And Sebastian Deschner was arguing with me how to make tea. So I had to give him a lecture because he was arguing with the Moroccan how to make Moroccan tea.
Come on, Germans. Do they know about tea now? I don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah, exactly like Dutch people. I'm half Dutch, and we drink more tea than water. I remember my grandparents, they drink tea really the whole day long until 11 in the evening. They were still drinking tea. It's it's still a ritual. And in my own family, we still, well, here in my family we do it less. But when I was with my parents, every day at 5 we had tea time. And
the same thing in Morocco. So in the morning for breakfast, there is like 2 clubs. There is like milk and coffee club, and then there is the tea club. At home, my mother drinks tea, but my father drinks milk. Like, so that's that. And then the 5 p.m. tea time, that's like a ritual.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
yeah. It's a ritual. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Let me see if people react on tea. Let me see. Yeah. I drink my tea as dark as coffee. Oh, that's Martijn from yeah. Okay. Yeah, when I was a kid, I put a cloud of milk, a nuage de lait, as we said. But yeah. Now I drink it also pretty dark. And Jan says, "I'm Dutch. I call my tea coffee." Super cool. I see the stream is gone. Stream is back. Okay. I was scary. Since we talk about a cloud of milk, let's come back to cloud. Just a question for you, because we had a discussion yesterday on Twitter, struggling defining what is cloud native. Do you have your definition of what cloud native is when you speak about workloads, applications? Because a lot of people say it's just marketing stuff, and which is a bit true. But no, cloud native, there are real principles around cloud native. What is your opinion on this?
Sure. So as you said, there is. I mean, I think that the whole cloud business has a lot of marketing involved, right? Cloud wouldn't exist if there was no marketing. But cloud native, I don't remember the exact kind of textbook definition from the top of my head, but to me, cloud native is when you are building on top of a layer of abstraction that hides the infrastructure from you as a developer, right? So to be very precise, what I would define as a cloud native implementation is if you go with managed database and managed runtime, right? Something like Google Cloud Run or Lambda or something like that. That would be cloud native implementation of an app where you run your web application on a managed infrastructure that you don't care how it runs. It just scales up and down according to demand. And then you use some sort of managed database that is accessible through an API or something like that. Going the non-cloud native way in this case would be that you set up your own database and you install server, you install Linux, you put MySQL or whatever it is, and then you have your web server running Nginx and all these kind of things, right? So that's for me the definition of the difference between cloud native and non-cloud native.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I was arguing with someone on internet. I was saying something. If your cloud native app has to provide health checks, health probes, to make a good cloud citizen, and he's saying, yeah, but that was even true before. You always have to provide that in your app. And what I said, yeah, but before, when you were deploying that on bare metal, your bare metal could not do anything with this health check. You have to provide something on the bare metal to do that. Me as a developer, if I deploy on Cube, I know I just have to provide these health checks, and natively the cloud will pick up these. I say that are small things that I like to add. That that make for me an application at least a good cloud citizens. That's what I like to tell.
That's a valid point. I would still agree on the fact that we had to do health checks before or even on bare metal, because you have a load balancer in front, right? So how would the load balancer in the bare metal installation know if your application is healthy or not, or know which server to route traffic to? That the server has to present an endpoint to do health check, right?
Yeah.
It's, of course, before you had to just unpack that load balancer and rack it somewhere and connect a bunch of cables. And today you do that through an API. So that's the main difference, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I'm looking in the chat. I see a question from Kurt. He say, how about databases in Kubernetes? Which is a valid point, because I know that we explain how you can deploy a database with PVCs and stuff, but still the reality is that still a lot of people delegate the database to outside the cluster. It's still, so I don't know. Maybe you have an opinion on this?
So yes, I have a very strong opinion about on that.
Okay, cool.
I think databases in Kubernetes, to make it work, it's painful. To make it work very well, it's painful. I think before, really the question to ask before you even go, am I going to do databases on Kubernetes or not, is to ask yourself, do I have the expertise to manage a database in my team, right? Because if the answer to that is no, then you better go with a managed solution. It will take you less time, and it will, so less time, what I mean by time is engineering time, and it will probably be way better than whatever you're going to be able to come up with, right? If you are a specialist, if you have like expertise in, like we've been doing MariaDB or Postgres since 20 years, or maybe less, but if you have the expertise, then sure, go ahead and do it. It's just that the added element that Kubernetes has, the abstraction layer of the container on top of the node. When you run databases on servers, you just have the VM, right? Or a bunch of VMs, and then you do replication and sharding, all those kind of things. But when you run on Kubernetes, you have the node, and then you have the pod, which is ephemeral. So it's kind of slightly more complicated. And to get it right, it takes time.
Okay, cool. I'm just scary because Restream say I have 0 on 10 network connection, but I still can hear you. And well, people are still trying to me. Okay, let me see. Tony say on-prem is difficult. Yeah, thanks for the experts. Yeah, okay, he likes the explanation. And Kurt say thank you. So great. Let me see. Wow, time is running, but we will talk a bit about serverless. Before that, one question that I ask everyone here on the show that use Kube is, what is your favorite Kubernetes feature?
Wow, I have to pick the load balancer parts, the services. So the way you expose applications in Kubernetes is really what makes Kubernetes, in my opinion, very, very good. And it's all the work that all the cloud providers, not only Google, have done on integrating with the load balancer API and the ingress API. And so that you have an application which is HTTP, you just have to create a single object, type ingress, you deploy it in the cluster, and then it provisions the whole load balancing layer for you. This is, of course, if you're running on cloud. If you're running on-prem, you will have to do that yourself. So that has to be my favorite way, is how easy it is to just make an application accessible from outside the cluster.
Yeah, that's true. It's magic. When I demo that, people, and I can share the link with, when I'm on a public cloud provider and I deploy my service, I can share the link in the chat and say, hey, people, look, you can click on the stuff I just created before. And yeah.
And a lot of cloud providers are doing a lot of good work into making it even easier to provision SSL certificates automatically and all these kind of things, right? So you don't have to deploy Search Manager and manage it yourself. You can just annotate your ingress with a bunch of annotations, and then it's like HTTPS. That's amazing for me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay. And the other question that I ask is, if there's one feature that you dreamed of and you could pick it and make sure it will be included in the next Kube release, what would that be? Do you have a feature that you dream of? And
that's a feature that would make, I think I have to go with making kubectl clean up the output automatically without using plugins. You know, when you do like a kubectl describe on an object or something, you always have these like extra fields that are added. You have the status part. So when you're creating a deployment, it's like 10 lines, but when you describe it, you're getting like 16 lines because, like, you know, stuff that have been added by the cluster. I wish that kubectl. So there is a plugin that somebody at Google wrote. You can, I forgot how it's named, but there is a plugin where you can do a kubectl get and then pipe it into the plugin, and it will clean up the output. But I wish that was natively supported in kubectl. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, really cool. Yeah, I like it. I'm collecting all this answer from everyone because we have some great suggestions. We have another question from Kurt, and he said, we're not using a mesh yet, so a service mesh. Do you think it's necessary for an enterprise?
Yes, you yeah, I mean, I I'm actually working on a talk that I'm calling Intro to Service Mesh, which is like just a word, like a play word on service mesh versus service mesh. I think that if you have requirements to, for example, do encryption in transit, a service mesh would make that much easier to do than if you want to do it yourself. Because most service meshes support MTLS out of the box, so you don't have to like handle certificates management in the application itself. If you are working in large enterprise, such a way that you have disconnected teams that doesn't talk to each other, and they're all kind of cohabiting in the same Kubernetes cluster, then Kubernetes, a service mesh would make it easier, because would make certain things easier, like routing, like TLS certifications, like certificates, like locking down the cluster for outbound calls and stuff like that. Most service mesh support that today. If you are not doing these kind of things, I don't think it's worth the hustle, because it's really big hustle to do service mesh today.
Yeah. And another use case that I like to mention service mesh is, well, you mentioned MTLS, but also end user security, identity management, to validate your token. If you can delegate that to one team, and otherwise, if you have a workload in Go, workloads in Java, you have all this team has to take care of that. Well, you can delegate that to the mesh. And let me make the transition on. And if the only thing you need from the mesh is some traffic splitting, and you want some pretty basic traffic splitting, what I'm suggesting to people now is to take a look at Knative, because Knative, besides being a serverless solution, as also for me it's way more than serverless. Knative. I love Knative, but there's this traffic splitting, which is if you just want to do some blue-green deployment or some canary deployment, well, you got it with Knative. So let's finish talking about a bit serverless. So I bring up the subject of Knative. I think you are also a fan of Knative. Is that right?
Sorry, I was pouring some tea. Yes, I am. I am more using more Cloud Run, which is the managed version we have on Google Cloud. And lately, I have wrote a random tweets that's just like a thought I had in my head, which was something around the lines of, it would be cool if in Kubernetes we could, instead of deploying so say you want to deploy an application. Today, you have to create two objects at least. You have to create a deployment itself, and then you have to create a service, right, to expose the application outside. So I was just like, hey, it would be cool if Kubernetes could support another type of objects called app. And in that app, you have the definition of the application itself and how do you expose it. And then somebody from the Knative team replied to me saying that Knative support that. And we were going back and forth in that thread.
I gave you the same answer on Twitter.
Yes, I remember, yes. So I tried that. It's really cool. I tried that. And because the reason I was actually hesitant in that thread is because I haven't tested Knative itself purely since a while now. And I thought it was as complex as before because you had to deploy the entire stack. But now, since you can deploy only the serving part, you can deploy only the serving or the events part. So that's actually, so I tried it and it's really cool. I like Knative. I still would, if I am a developer, I would prefer to just look at Cloud Run, because then I don't have to manage Kubernetes. But yeah, if for example, you have internally a team that manages Kubernetes and they would make the developer's life easier, they could just deploy Knative on the clusters and give them access.
Yeah, exactly. And with the operator, it's pretty easy too. It's just one operator compared to Istio. At least on OpenShift, you have to install a lot of operators. For Knative, it's one operator. Then you create a namespace Knative serving, and yeah, that's it. You are good to go. And as you said, you have just one service YAML to write. I think in my demo, I have a 7-line service, and that's it. And that's almost the feature that I would like to see natively in Kubernetes. Instead of writing the service, this deployment, exposing the root, and etc., I would like to have this a bit like you said, the application object. The stuff from Knative natively. And
yes,
I mentioned YAML, and I think I got a question from Martijn. He say YAML, TOML, XML, or JSON?
None of them. I have. It's a really hard question. I have to go, Jason. Personally, I have to go, Jason. YAML is a pain.
Yeah. I had Bruno 2 weeks ago, Bruno Borges, on the show. So
oh yeah, the 2 or 3 YAML engineer.
Well, even if I teased the show around YAML during the show, we didn't really talk about that topic. And after that, he in private he said, "Thank you, Sebi. I know I make a lot of jokes around that, but it was not worth discussing too much that in an interview." And I totally agree with him. Let me see. Well, we still have a little bit of time. Can you explain Cloud Run quickly? Because it's a managed service on top of Knative, more or less, or
correct. It's basically managed Knative. So you don't have to deploy Knative. You don't have to deploy Kubernetes. It doesn't actually run on Kubernetes. So Cloud Run comes in 2 versions. We have something called Cloud Run for Anthos, which is a distribution of Knative that Google give you, and is supported, and you can deploy it on any Kubernetes cluster, whether it's on-prem or on GCP. And you have the managed version of Cloud Run, which is Cloud Run Managed. And that's essentially a single API. You write a YAML, you write a Docker file, you build an image, you push it to GCR, the Google Container Registry, or like our Docker Hub, the private Docker Hub. And then you use the gcloud command. You don't have to write YAML files to just deploy an application. And you say, okay, this is my image. This is, I want it to be open to the public or not. And then we will deploy it. We will put a load balancer in front of it with HTTPS and certificates out of the box. We will generate a domain. You can have custom domains if you want, but we will give you like a random link that will be generated. Yeah, that's basically Cloud Run. It's like the easiest way to deploy a Docker container today in GCP at least.
GCP, yeah. And does it also manage the Knative eventing part, or is it just?
Yes, it does. It does. It has the serving and the eventing part. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Have you played a bit with the eventing part?
Yes, I have done a couple of tests. Unfortunately, on the engagements I'm having with the customers I'm working with right now, we are not using Cloud Run yet with any customer that I'm working with. We're still on like pure Kubernetes stuff. Yeah. But I have played around myself just doing demos, and it works. It's really cool. It has integration with PubSub, Google Cloud Storage, like the Google products. And so, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. I played also a bit with the Kafka source or just the ping source. When you do a demo, you have this ping source that you cron job, and you can do really funny demos with that. So cool. Let me double check if there are questions. Any swags? Well, I don't have any swags here right now. I'm not sure about your question. Andy Sanya. Oh, you're really. I cannot pronounce. I won't try to pronounce your name because it's. Okay, Tunis a Kafka. I think you mean Kafka. It's great. Yeah. Okay. You know a bit of Kafka, by the way?
No, I am not actually. No, not really. I have never had the chance to use it. I have been involved in some design sessions around putting it on Kubernetes, but a few more from a networking perspective, so the infrastructure side. But I have never played around with Kafka now.
Okay, cool. Looks like, yeah. Is there anything that you would like to add or to?
Do you want me to tell you how to make tea?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna give a short version of the lecture that we did in Morocco because it was sunny and we were like in a warm environment, so we had time.
Yeah. Let me put you even in max size for that.
Oh, cool. All right, thank you. So there are 2 ways to make Moroccan tea. There is the lazy way, which is what I went with today. So you use a tea bag, right, and hot water. This is actually green tea from Morocco. So you just like you make regular tea. There is the proper way, which is you make it in this pot. This is a typical teapot for 2 people, I guess, or in my case for 1. And in Morocco, we typically don't use tea bags. We use this tea, which is like you buy it in like a box, right, or a bag. But like it's not en vrac we dit in French. It's not in bags, in individual bags. Anyway, you take it, you put it in the pot, you pour hot water on it, you wait a little bit, like 2 minutes, then you dump it out, and then you put more hot water. You wait another 2 minutes, you dump it out. We call that cleaning the tea. Then you put hot water, you fill it up, and then you put sugar if you want sugar, and then mint. There are two clubs. There is people who put mint in the pot, and there are people who like mint in the glass. I like mint in the glass because when mint stays in the hot water for a long time, it becomes bitter. And then you boil it. Then you put it on the stove and just boil it. And when it's boiled, then that's it. That's your tea. You wait for a few minutes and then you pour it. And that's it.
Oh, awesome. That's really cool. I can cut that video off and I can send it to you if you want to publish it as a tutorial.
Yes, I will send it to Sebastian just as a reminder.
I will ping him on Twitter about it. Okay. Anyway, hey, Abdel, thank you so much. It was great discussions. And yeah, for people, they can follow you on Twitter. Let me try to do that well. They should see your Twitter handle here. So Board Abdel. How do you?
Yeah, Board Abdel, yes.
Board Abdel. So don't hesitate to follow him. By the way, also if you don't follow me yet, here that's mine, CB2706. Okay, and well, enjoy the cold Sweden. And
thank you. I'm having some friends coming over for pizza, so it's fine.
Oh, pizza time! It's always when it's pizza. It's always
good time to make pizza.
Exactly. And I really hope we will be able to meet in person again. Maybe, I don't know if DevOps Morocco 2021 is something that we can consider. I would like to hope so. But yeah, I think it's the earliest because I think nothing won't really happen before that.
Yeah, I know that Badr, they're working on it. They are kind of preparing, but we will see how it goes. Yeah, but I hope so, yes. I hope so. It will be 2021.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, thank you so much. And well, speak to you later.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. Have a good one.
Hey, bye-bye. Okay, so I'm back alone with my poor quality. Okay, let me try something. Let me try to, anyway, I will share my screen in a while. That should help. I can try to lower the quality of my camera. Okay, maybe that will, I'm in 480p now. So let me see what happens. Oh, a lot of chat today. I'm happy. That's what I want. That's really what I want. Oh, Omar, a Moroccan here, could not have explained that better. Okay, awesome. I don't know if people are still seeing me. Let me see. Oh, looks like I'm back. Looks like I was away for a few moments. Okay, let's try to finish this stream. Let's see what happens. Let me share my screen. You're back now. So I was really go away for a while. Okay, I really need, maybe you know what? I'm on my 4G connection for this. Maybe I run out of my plan. Could be. Okay. Anyway, let me share my screen. Share my screen. There we go. And here we should be in inception mode now. Let me double check on the stream. Let me see. Let me wait a bit. The delay. Okay. Do you see? No, you don't see my screen share. Looks like. Let me do it again. Come on. Screen share. Entire screen share. Let's go. Oh yeah, I have to put it on screen. Yeah, I'm still a newbie. Okay, there we go. I see we are in inception mode. Awesome. Okay, there we go. That should be good now. Okay, so hopefully it will be a bit better because my I can turn off my camera. No, maybe not. Okay. Anyway, what I want to do is to play the million quiz game with all of you. Okay. And like all the other games that we do, okay, it's a game that we developed in the team and that we deploy on Kubernetes, of course, and that we deploy on OpenShift, which again is Kubernetes made by Red Hat. Okay, let me double check. I have a small delay so I can see if it's working on your side. Yeah, it's working. Okay. Oh, no, still your live cam view. Okay, but now you should see my screen. I think I can see in the feedback that you see my screen now, so it should be good. Anyway, we developed our own quiz game using cool technologies like Quarkus, and I just deployed it this morning, and it's scaled to 0, so I can just scale it to 1 now, and that will bring up my pod and make my game available for all of you. Okay, this game is deployed and has a service and has a root exposed for me. Okay, and if I go there, you can see it's a Quarkus app. And what I'm going to do, whoa, yeah, no certificate, no problem. There we go. Let me log in because we secured this game, the backend, the admin part, with Keycloak for people who know Keycloak. Okay, and from here I will be able to control the game. Okay, I will share a link with you in a few moments. Okay, and I first need to import the questions, and you know how we do that? We do that using Swagger, okay? Because Swagger exposes everything we need here, and I get an import endpoint, and with Swagger I can just import all the questions of the quiz. All the questions of the quiz that I got here. It's too small so you cannot see it. I execute that, and that will put all the questions in the database. Okay, and I got a key now. And if I go here, I can put my context ID, and I set I init. Okay, and now the game is ready to start. For that, you need a link that I have here and that I will share with you now. There we go. Okay, so I click the link there, and now I'm going to wait a bit that people join the game. Okay, I will see it here, and you should be able to join the game. And I don't, 4 players, cool. Okay, let me wait a bit. It's still early. Don't be shy, just click the link. That will bring you to something. Let me click the link as well. Let me copy the link and open that here in a new incognito window. There we go. You should see something like that. It will generate a username for you, okay? And you just have to wait. Okay, let me see how many players are there. Let me close this. Let me see, 9 players. Okay, 10 players. Cool. Let me see in the chat if everything goes well for you. Okay, there we go. Okay, there are 10 questions. Okay, and the funny stuff is that you will see the question on your screen before I say it, because we have some latency here. Okay, so focus on your screen, listen to me and focus on your screen. Remember, you can only answer once. The fastest you answer, the most points you get. Are you ready? Okay, there we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's start with the first question. Start. Okay. Which one of these is a serverless solution? Okay, so you should see here. Is that Istio? Is that Tecton? Is that Knative? Is that Keycloak? If you listened really well, you should know the answer. Okay, let me see a bit. Let me see. We got 4 people that answer Knative. Cool. And some other people that had a wrong answer. Okay, and let me see a bit to the. And we got Adele 70607, who was the fastest, so he got 17 points. Okay, and let me go to the next question. Okay, there we go. Oh no, let me reveal the answer for you. So the answer was Knative, of course. Okay, and now we go for the next question. Okay, which of these is not a valid Java packaging mechanism? Is that bar, jar, ear, or war? And let me see if everything goes well here. Yeah, everything goes well. Awesome. Okay, let me see if people get it. And we have 3 answers for bar. Okay, cool. So looks like we have 12 players, but only 5 people are playing. Okay. Anyway, you can join later. If you missed the beginning, just wait on your browser, and the next question will pop up. You will just miss points from the previous question. And yeah, of course, the right answer was bar. And look, Adele is taking the lead with 33 points. Let me reveal the answer. So the correct answer was bar. Bar doesn't exist. Okay, would be funny to deploy a bar, but yeah. Next question. How is called the hero of the game Half-Life? Best game ever, by the way. Okay. Is that Gordon Freeman? Is that LeChuck? Is that Guybrush Threepwood? Is that Zach McCracken? So here, less technical question. Let me see if there are hardcore fans. Hey, Gordon Freeman. Good. Let me see. Hey, and Adele is still leading. Okay, let me reveal the answer. Is still leading with almost 50 points, and we have Guido there. Guido with 20 points. You can still win because it's still the beginning. Next question. Maybe technical question, maybe not a technical question. What happens if a liveness probe on Kubernetes fails on a pod? What happens? What will the cluster do? Will the cluster delete the pod? Will it be removed from the service loader? Will it restart the pod, or the kubelet creates a new pod? Okay, liveness probe. And there was only 2 people who knew the answer. The other did not even try it to answer. And it was, of course, C. Yeah, the kubelet will restart the pod. Okay. And looks like Adele missed that question. Next question. How many seasons of Friends, the show, Friends, exist? How many? Is that, I don't even remember the answers that I put. Is that 8, 12, 6, 10? Do people know that? Let me double check here the chat if everything goes well. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Time is up. Hey, that's funny. We have only 3 people who answered. Okay. So people don't be shy. Just play the game. And we have just 1 right answer, and it was Adele that gave the right answer. And the right answer is, of course, yeah, there are 10 seasons of Friends. Okay, next question then. I made a typo there. With Knative out of the box, you get. So what did you get out of the box? You need to know a bit about Knative. Did you get skill to 0 traffic splitting? Skill to 0 auto-scale traffic splitting? Skill to 0 and auto-scale? Skill to 0 AGB support? Wow. And traffic splitting. Okay. Let me see if people got... Yeah. Okay. Most of the people. Well, there are 3 people that played. B. Yeah, you get skill to 0, auto skill, traffic splitting, and way more than that. Okay. Unfortunately, you don't get AJB support. Okay, and Adele is taking the lead. It will be really hard for the other people to win. Next question. What is a feature of a Kubernetes service? Okay, so is it to have dynamic IP or more to have a stable IP? Is it network storage or a shared life cycle? One really great thing about service is, let me see. Well, most of the people answer the wrong answer, because the great thing with this service, if you compare that to a pod, is that it will always have a stable IP, and that's why you can rely on services. Okay. To be true, the question could be written better. Okay. Maybe you thought dynamic IP is okay. Anyway, I will think about it. Next question. When was Space Invaders created? You know, one of the best game ever. We played it already on this show where we can destroy pods. Was that in 1980, 1977, 1978, or 1976? You have to know it, otherwise you cannot guess it. And most people say B. Let me see what B is. B77. No, the right answer is the year where I was born is 1978. I reveal the answer. Okay. And I think we are almost done. I think there's a last question. Oh, no, that was it. That was it. So let me see. Adele 706 won the game by far. 74 points. Then there was Brendan. And then there was James. Cool. Congratulations to you. Also, congratulations to Guido, who made 20 points. Oh, no, look. Oh no! Look, sorry. The game was not. There was still one. There was still one question. What was the Golem's original name? Yeah. And okay, sorry. What was Golem's original name? I knew I put this one. Well, most of the people answer right. It's Miguel. My precious. Let me reveal, and now we are really done, I think. Oh no, there's still a latest question. First release of Kubernetes was when? Was it in 2008, 2014, 2016, 2012? Martin, you didn't win because the game was not finished. Okay, time is up. Let me see. Let me reveal the answer for everyone. So Kubernetes was released in 2014. Okay, so 2 people had it right. Wow, close for James, but I think their final scoreboard. There we go. Let me make that a bit bigger here. So we have Adele, our winner. Okay, with 82 points, which is huge. Then we have James with 61 points and Brendan with 33 points. Congratulations to the 3 of you. So I guess Martin, you were Martin, you were Adele. Okay. Oh, can't answer in the mirror. You close the browser. Okay. So I'm sorry about that. So let me see. Let know in the chat who is the winner. Okay. You know what? Let me pop out the chat, something like that, so I can see the chat here. And let me go here. And yeah, that's it for today. One thing that I forgot to show you is our agenda. Okay, because this is the show, but we do way more than this. So today was the show. Let me send that here in the chat. Where is the chat? Oh, and now I lost the chat. Let me see. Where is the chat? There's the chat. There we go. There's the chat. Okay, if you go there, you will see. Well, today was the show. Next Tuesday, I'm giving a deep dive. You have to register for that in French. So if you are French speaking, and it's number 2 already, but you can still register. But again, it will be in French. Next Thursday, so instead of the show, it will be the Tech Talk with Edson. And it will be about the OpenShift Developer Sandbox. Okay, Developer Sandbox. Let me copy that as well in the chat. That is something pretty crazy. You can have a cluster, a Kubernetes cluster for 2 weeks, okay, for free. You just have to register on Red Hat Developers, and then you can launch your own cluster, for 2 weeks. And next week, Joe Lord will explain everything about this, okay? Again, other thing that I want to show you, dn.dev/YouTube. That is our YouTube channel. So let me paste that as well, because on this channel, of course, you can find all the replays. The replays from the show, for instance. You have some playlists here if you want. So the show, you can see all the shows, all the replays, okay? And but but also close player, yeah, close player. But also all the tech talks, everything is there, plus a lot of stuff. So go on the channel, just subscribe. There's a lot of resources. If you search well, you can even find a short video of me explaining the difference between deployment and a pod using Doom, the game Doom. Okay. Let me go back to Restream here. Let me stop the share. That's it. I'm back in 2 weeks. Thank you for all the people who attended. There were around 30 people, so that's great. In 2 weeks, new show, new game, new guest. I still have to find a guest, okay? And that's it. I wish you a super great day or evening, depending where you are. And see you in 2 weeks for the show, but see you Tuesday for the French people for Kubernetes, and next week for the Tech Talk. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.